Hello and welcome to yet another video, and today's video is on documentary evidences in support of NBA accreditation. NBA visiting team verifies a wide variety of documentary evidences in support of teaching learning processes and continuous improvement initiatives. The criteria 2, 3 and 7 of self-assessment report require a huge amount of documents, and department has to produce all documented evidences before the team. It seems that all these processes demand a hectic workload from the faculties to meet those requirements. This video will look at only one aspect of activities related to assessment that can solve many issues of heavy workloads. Please watch the video till the end to understand how a simple but systematic approach of continuous assessment can solve many issues and can generate the required documents to fulfill criteria 2, 3 and 7. Criterion 2 deals with curriculum gap teaching learning processes, and it includes assessment processes like class test, assignment, experiment and project. Criterion 3 demands for computation of attainment level of course outcomes, program outcomes and program specific outcomes based on assessment and evaluation analysis and also on improvement plans. It also involves the closing of loops at course level and program level. The closing the quality loop addresses the teaching learning processes. Criterion 7 requires the same data from Criterion 3, and the trends of data determine the marks to be awarded. It also requires action plan on the basis of improvement trend. It is therefore essential to target the core of all three criteria, that is assessment, evaluation, assessment results and action plan from the perspective of continuous improvement. If the assessment, analysis of assessment and action plans are taken care of, a good deal of requirements of these criteria are fulfilled. Assessment and continuous improvement. Assessment gives feedbacks and it finds the ways of feed forward for enhanced learning. Continuous internal assessment is a journey that leads to destination with necessary adjustment in the teaching learning processes based on the assessment feedbacks. There are many ways to gather information and analyze the information for readjusting teaching learning and moving forward. A wide variety of tools and techniques are used by different institutes. We are concentrating on the unit test or mid-semester examination to assess the students' learning during the journey of teaching learning. Analysis of class test result is very useful to assess the attainment of some of the course outcomes. The faculty needs to analyze the class test results by computing the attainment level of COs addressed by the class test questions. The perspective of continuous improvement. The objective of this video is to discuss a method of computing course outcome attainment levels to address the teaching learning processes or delivery methods. The process includes computation of result, analysis of the result, and the action plan for improvement. From the perspective of continuous improvement and outcome-based education, one sample class test result will be tabulated for analysis, and it will be done in line with the NBA guidelines. We all know that NBA visiting team verifies many documented evidences in support of the activities of the program to ensure continuous improvement. Assessment and evaluation processes provide critical information to the faculties and administrators. Improvements based on feedback from evaluation will help in the attainment of outcomes. The impact may be observed in the very next class test. Outcome-based education. Outcome-based education needs outcome-based curriculum, outcome-based teaching learning, and outcome-based assessment. A vision is tried to be realized through some missions. For missions, the educational objectives are stated. Program outcomes are identified by NBA and are achieved by some course outcomes from the curriculum. And this process is called the developmental stage of outcome-based education, and the approach is top-down approach. The process to determine attainment of POs, PSOs, and PEOs begins with attainment of COs. POs are achieved or realized through COs. The approach is bottom-up approach. The attainment of a course outcome is computed at the end of the course. The attainment of CO within a course ensures the continuous dedication towards improvement to attain the outcome. Record keeping, analyzing, and planning for future are the key aspects of OBE. The whole process consists of the developmental top-down approach and bottom-up for attainment of the outcomes. And we will target the latter one. Our discussion will be on the attainment from the bottom to the top. This picture gives a quick recap of the requirements of outcome-based education and NBA accreditation. The PEOs are considered as global objectives about what the graduates do in the society after completing the program. Program outcomes are the outcomes at the end of the program, and these are at institutional level. This addresses the summative outcomes of the program. Course outcomes, on the other hand, are the outcomes at the end of each individual course, and these are also at institutional level. COs are so stated that are observable and measurable during and after the course duration. Both COs and POs should be addressed from the perspective of continuous improvement. So let us discuss the solution to define the teaching learning processes under a program. Today we will concentrate on how to accumulate the documentary evidences to support the teaching learning processes of a program for attaining target level for COs, POs, and PSOs. We all know that POs are attained through COs. So there are many course outcomes under some courses. Again, PSOs are attained through some core courses, project and seminar, and some professional practices. And finally, the mission and visions are realized. Attaining the target is looked upon as activities that demand hectic workload from the internal stakeholders and particularly from the faculties. Everything big starts with some little. So we will begin with some small things. Say the attainment calculation of first class test of a course. Computation of attainments of first class test. So let's move forward to the small thing and let us take one practical example from which we can begin the small thing to attain something big. Class test addressing some selected COs, we need to set some question paper. So this is a sample question paper for the purpose of this video only. Say this is class test 1 for third semester and the course is ME 301. Total marks of the class test is 20. So these are the instructions to the students. And these are the questions of the question paper for class test 1. Question 1 and question number 2 address CO1 for total of 2 plus 4 equals 6 marks. And question number 3, 4, 5 and 6, all these questions address CO2 and the total marks for this CO is 14. Total marks for the class test is 20 and out of that 14 marks is allotted to CO2 and 6 marks allotted to CO1. In the same question paper, the faculty or class teacher may include these comments for departmental use. Say copy will go to HOD or program coordinator of the respective department and for information only. The same copy will go to question paper scrutinizing committee for acceptance, modification or rejection as the case may be. It will also go to IQAC, Internal Quality Assurance Cell or Academic Committee for documentation proof and also for recommendation from the IQAC if there is any. And one copy is for the office file for proof of documentation. So this question paper itself initiate the process of documentation, and after the class test there will be series of documents produced according to the activities involved with the class test. We have just discussed the question paper set for class test 1 addressing CO1 and CO2. So this is the Excel sheet where the marks scored by the students are tabulated. The calculation of attainment of course outcomes under continuous internal assessment for mechanical engineering department, diploma in mechanical engineering program. Semester is third semester, year 2020. Course code is ME301, class test 1, name of the faculty. Total number of students appearing the class test is 40 and total marks for the class test is 20 and 6 marks allotted to CO1 and 14 marks allotted to CO2 in class test 1. The marks scored by the student are to be tabulated like this. I am tabulating the scores in an Excel sheet. So based on these marks, we can easily calculate the average marks of the students. For CO1, the average is 5.2, that is class average, and 7 for CO2. So this class average 5.2 is our target score for CO1, and target mark for CO2 is 7. So number of students scoring more than the class average is found to be 32, and for CO2 this number is 21 out of 40. So by using the Excel sheet or by any other way, by manual calculation also, we can find out the percentage of students above average score is 80%, and percentage of students scoring more than the average mark is 53% for CO2. The attainment level for the program can be defined well in advance by the department. For the purpose of this video, I assume that the attainment level is 1 if 50% or more than 50% of the students score more than the average mark, then the attainment level is 1. And attainment level is 2 if 60% or more than 60% of the students score above class average. And attainment level is 3 if 70% or more than 70% of the students score above the class average. This attainment level may be different for different institute and even different for different programs. The attainment level may be different for different academic session also, but for the purpose of this video, I am taking this is the attainment level. So if that is so, 80% of the students score more than the class average in CO1, so the attainment level is 3, and that is shown by green color code. For CO2, 53% of the students scores above class average, so the attainment level is 1, and this is indicated by orange color code. The exact value for the attainment level for CO1 is 3 and CO2 is 1.3, since the percentage of student is 53. So for class test 1, the attainment level is calculated, and for CO1 it is found to be 3 and for CO2 it is 1.3. The concerned faculty will address this attainment level to the respective committees. He or she may forward the report to the program coordinator or HOD for information, and one copy may go to IQAC, Internal Quality Assurance Cells, or Academic Audit Committee for suggestions or for necessary action by the faculty. One copy may go to as office copy for documentation, and based on this attainment level, the faculty himself or herself may take some action plan. For the purpose of this video, this may be considered as a sample action plan from faculty. Say 2 or 3 remedial classes will be arranged for students scoring below class average marks to target CO2. In this example, CO1 is achieved with attainment level of 3. For CO2, the attainment level is 1.3, well below the attainment level of 3, highest attainment level. So that faculty may target CO2, and students scoring below the class average may be asked to attend some remedial class so that they may improve in the next class test or next examination. The teacher will have to plan for that. Say the classes will be scheduled within 10 days outside the routine schedule. That means without affecting the routine, the student will be given the remedial class outside the scheduled routine. There will be some documents produced. So one document will be from the side of IQAC, and one is for the remedial class. For that also the documentation has to be done by the teacher and submitted to the respective committee so that those documents may be produced. The faculty is supposed to say sign, and it will be forwarded to the respective committees or to the respective person. So in this class test 1 itself, there will be some documents produced in terms of attainment level, in terms of answer scripts, and many other way. There will be at least 4, 5 or 6 documents created only because of class test 1. So big things have small beginning. In a diploma engineering program, there are about 36 to 40 different courses. For degree program, the number may be something like 48 to 56. So on an average, each course has 6 different outcomes. If that is so, there are about 240 course outcomes that address the program outcomes identified by NBA. The small thing we are looking at is a single course, say course 1. For each course, there is at least one teacher, and generally a faculty has to conduct minimum 2 courses to meet the requirements of AICTE norms of academic workload. The teacher delivers the content of the curriculum during the classroom teaching, tutorial and lab sessions and other activities. During the course session, generally the teacher conducts 2 or 3 class tests along with some other assessment tools. Each class test addresses 2 course outcomes. Say, for the sake of our discussion, 1 class test, 2 course outcomes are covered. Based on the competition results, the teacher plans for improvement. The attainment results are supposed to be forwarded to IQAC. The remedial classes may have to be arranged for students scoring less than the class average. The question paper for the class test is scrutinized by a committee. In this small activity related to class test 1, we can expect 3 to 6 documentary evidences created. For the sake of our discussion, we assume that one teacher conducts 2 courses and each course has 3 class tests. Say for one course there are 3 class tests, and for one class test the related activities are setting of question paper, scrutinization committee report, tagging of COs, calculation of attainment of each CO, remedial class, or we can say class for doubt clearing, forwarding the attainment and action plan to the IQAC, and IQAC recommendation on. If one class test creates 6 documents, then 3 class tests will produce 18 documents in a single semester. So one academic year will ensure 2 multiplied by 18 multiplied by 2 to about 72 documentary evidences per faculty. For a diploma institute, we can expect about 1440 documents out of class test only in a single academic year. So in 3 years, it will be about 4,320 documents and excluding the copies of the answer script of class test. The answer script copies are also part of the documents to be produced before the NVA visiting team. Class test is not the only assessment tool. There are many other standard assessment tools like assignment, group discussion, quizzes, presentation, seminars, projects, and professional practices. If activities are actually done and documents are preserved properly, there should not be any problem to face the problem of documentary evidences. So here we have seen that the only problem is actually the problem of plenty so far as documentary evidences are concerned.